Hello students, I am Sonali Kelkar and today we are going to study about the life process. So let's start with the chapter life process. Introduction. We are going to have a recap first. In introduction we have already done this chapter in which I have discussed about the different processes, and these life processes are very important for the maintenance function of living organism so that life goes on even if an organism is sitting and sleeping. Now in this process energy is very important. So this energy is acquired by our body through the process of nutrition. Then how this energy is transferred to the different parts of our body, how this energy is broken down, so how food is broken down, so that the energy can be which is coming out from food will be absorbed by your body, different organs, how they are going to use that energy which we obtain from food, and how the waste product of the waste products which are formed from metabolic activities is thrown out from our body. This also I have discussed. There are 8 very important life processes: nutrition, control and coordination, excretion, respiration and reproduction, transportation, growth and development, and movement. Nutrition. We are going to start with the nutrition. This is the process in which organism takes food and utilizes it. In this, we need to know that why do we need nutrition? So organism need energy to perform various activities. So nutrition are very important for performing the various activities, for the growth of body and for the repair of organs. Nutrients, these are the substances which are very important substances for the growth and development of the body. We can divide nutrients as carbohydrate, protein and fats. These are the macronutrients, and the micronutrients are vitamins and minerals. Now in nutrition we have to study about autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, we will be studying about holozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition and saprophytic nutrition. So first let's take the autotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition, as we know, it takes place in green plants and even in certain bacteria. We are going to concentrate on green plants. Now this particular autotrophic nutrition, where the plants makes its own food. There is nothing process like digestion. It is a formation of food, a manufacturing of food. Now this food is manufactured in a particular organelle present in plant cell. This organelle is chloroplast. Chloroplast is a part of plastids. We know that there are 3 kinds of plastids: leucoplast, chromoplast and chromoplast and chloroplast. So chloroplast is the plastid which is important. It has green pigments. It is a double bonded organelle. You can see there are 2 membranes of organelle, right? So it's a double membrane organelle. Inside this you can see the stack of sacs. Each stack is known as thylakoid, and this whole pile or the whole stack is known as granum, singular. Granum is a singular word. These granas are connected by a bridge like thing called lamella. The yellow part is a matrix. In this matrix you will find chloroplast it has own DNA. This is a chloroplast DNA, and chloroplasts do have their own ribosome. Clear? So on the walls of thylakoid there are chlorophyll present, and chlorophyll pigments are basically a requirement for the photosynthesis process. Now let's have a look of cross section of leaf. When light falls on the leaf, it is covered with the topmost structure called wax cuticle, or you can say a waxy cuticle or a cuticle also, right? So top part of the leaf is covered with a cuticle layer underneath the upper epidermis, and under the upper epidermis you will find palisade mesophyll cells. Now palisade mesophyll cells, they are having chloroplast, abundant of chloroplast, and we know that on the walls of thylakoid there are chlorophyll. So chloroplasts which are present in palisade mesophyll will help in the absorption of light which is falling on the upper part of leaf. Under the palisade mesophyll there are spongy mesophylls. Even they have chlorophyll, and this also participate in the production of food. There are certain spaces in between them. These spaces are important for the diffusion of gases and even for the transfer of for the conduction of water. Here in the lower epidermis is devoid of chlorophyll, but there are stomatal opening in lower epidermis where you will see guard cells. In guard cells there are chlorophyll. Again it will help in the photosynthesis. These guard cell openings are very important for the diffusion of gases. In the diffusion of gases, carbon dioxide will be coming inside the cell and oxygen will be released out. Now let's have a look of autotrophic nutrition. In autotrophic nutrition, plants use abiotic substance such as carbon dioxide and water and minerals, and with their help they make food. The food is first manufactured in a form of glucose. Further, it is stored in a form of starch in the different parts of the plant, such as roots, stems, leaves. This stored food can be used by the plant at the time of emergency or later on. Now let's have a look of steps of photosynthesis. The first step of photosynthesis is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green color pigment present on the walls of thylakoid, which helps in the absorption of light. And once the light is absorbed, the next process is photolysis. As the word suggests, photolysis is the breaking down of water molecule. Here we can see the water molecule has broken down into hydrogen ion, that is proton, electron and oxygen. Oxygen is a waste product for plants, so it is released in the environment. And we all know that photosynthesis takes place during the daytime. So during the daytime, oxygen will be released in the environment. Electrons are used further by the plant for the photophosphorylation reaction. Hydrogen will be used by the plant to reduce NADP into NADPH. So in this step we will see that conversion of light energy into chemical energy. So NADP and ATP, in this process photophosphorylation, ATP will be formed. Okay, so this is a conversion of light energy into chemical energy. Then splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen ions. Whatever energy is released, and whatever chemicals are formed during the above two processes. The above two processes are also known as light phase or the light reaction of photosynthesis. And the last process, in which carbon dioxide will be reduced to carbohydrates, will be the dark reaction. That means it is light independent reaction. It doesn't mean that it doesn't take place in during the daytime, but it means that it doesn't require sunlight. Both the reaction will be taking place in the cell simultaneously. There is hardly any difference, time difference between these two processes. Here is the photosynthesis. You must know the equation of photosynthesis, a balanced equation of photosynthesis. We have done the balanced equation in chemistry. So please make sure when you write this equation, it should be balanced. Here 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 12 molecules of water will give you C6H12O6, which is glucose. Oxygen will be released, 6 molecules of oxygen will be released, and water is formed. This water can be further utilized in the different activities of plant. Here you can see light is coming. I just want to tell you one thing, that photon is a unit of light. Okay, so when light falls on the green leaves, chlorophyll gets excited, and when chlorophyll gets excited, it starts doing its work. It will break water. The water will be broken down, and we have seen that it broke down into oxygen. Oxygen is released in air, then it gives out hydrogen ion and also electron, which will be further used in the process of making glucose. So this light reaction taking place in grana, whereas the dark reaction takes place in the matrix or the stroma of a chloroplast. This reaction is known as light independent reaction because it doesn't require light, but it takes place, both the reaction takes place during the daytime. How do plant obtain carbon dioxide? We all know that plant obtain carbon dioxide by the process of diffusion, and this process takes place through stomatal opening, and this process is controlled by the guard cells of stomata. Opening and closing of stomata. The opening and closing of stomata are on the account of movement of water in and out of the guard cells. They have a thick inner wall facing the opening and the thin outer wall on the opposite side. When water draws in from the adjoining cells due to endoosmosis, the guard cells become turgid and bulges outward. Due to their thin outer wall, when the water moves out of the cell, they get shrink and become flaccid. As a result, the thick walls straighten to close the stomata. So let's discuss this in detail. Here's the stomata, right? There are adjacent cells around the stomata, and when water starting coming inside the guard cells, okay, when water comes inside the guard cells, they become turgid because they have a thin outer wall. This part will start expanding. This part will start expanding from both the sides. When you expand something from both the side, this opening will get broadened. Okay, this opening will get broadened. They have a thick inner wall. Guard cell have a thick inner wall. You can see chloroplast on the guard cells, a big vacuole and nucleus of the guard cell. This is a open stomata. This is a stomatal opening, right? Here is a stomata which is closed because they have a thick wall. It is closed properly, but still there should be a little gap over here. Okay, so when water goes out from the guard cells, they get flaccid. When they get flaccid, this due to this thick inner wall of guard cell, they get closed, and then little bit of diffusion will be there, but diffusion is not stopped, not they, it won't get end. Okay, during the night time, carbon dioxide will be thrown out from the guard cell and oxygen will be taken in. So during the night time they respire like human beings. Oh, that is why it is not advisable to sleep or sit under the tree during the night time. There are few more reasons why you shouldn't go near the tree, because of the nocturnal animals that comes out during the night time, to avoid any kind of incidents. That is also one of the reason. Otherwise, carbon dioxide released during the night time, so you shouldn't sleep under the tree. This is a very important question from the point of view of exam. Coming to heterotrophic nutrition. So heterotrophic nutrition, under the heterotrophic nutrition we have to learn about holozoic nutrition. Holozoic means in this type of nutrition, organism will be taking in whole food, and it will going this whole food will be digested by organism, by their digestive system. It will be broken down into absorbable substances, so that even the cell can utilize. Example of holozoic nutrition is human beings, amoeba, monkeys, fish, starch, reptiles, all are holozoic nutrition. All have a holozoic mode of nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition, in this case, the organism feeds on dead plants and animals. So before they have their food, what do? They release some kind of chemical which simplified the food, and then they absorb. For example, bread mold, yeast and mushroom. Then parasitic nutrition, here the organism obtain food from plant and animal without killing them. They live either inside the body or they can stay outside the body, but they will be getting their food from a organism. They are not making their own food, neither they are getting the ready-made food. In fact, an example, orchids, leeches and tapeworm. Nutrition in amoeba and paramoecium. So this is also a very important topic, how amoeba and paramoecium, they are the single cellular organism. How do they obtain their food? Because their body is a very simple body. They have very limited life processes. Amoeba now takes in food using pseudopodia. Here you can see pseudo means false, podia means food. So they have false food or false feet like structure, right? Why do we call false feet? Because they don't have a proper shape. They changes according to the situation or the surrounding. Amoeba takes in food using pseudopodia. Here is the food, is the prey of amoeba. Amoeba trying to go near the food, it will extend one of its pseudopodia. It will surround the food, okay, with the pseudopodia, and then these food vacuole will eat the complex substance. It will break down the complex substance. How you can see how this prey got fuses with the body. Okay, this prey has gone inside the body of amoeba. Then inside it will be digested by the enzyme which are present in vacuoles, and when it is digested it will be thrown out of the surface of amoeba. Clear? And next picture is about paramoecium, engulfing food particle. Paramoecium, in paramoecium food is taken to a particular spot by the movement of cilia. You can see there are so many cilia, and we know that even paramoecium moves with the help of these cilia. the food over here is taken to a particular spot, then it will be taken inside the body of Paramoecium. It will be digested by the food vacuole. Food vacuole have a lot of enzymes, so these enzymes help in the digestion of food, and the waste material is thrown out through the anal pore. There is an anal pore and the waste material is thrown out to the anal pore. You can see the whole cycle of digestion over here. Now coming to human beings. Yes. Okay, steps in Holozoic nutrition. We know that human beings, we consume a complex food, and that has to be digested into a simpler substance so that even the cells, which are the fundamental unit of our body, will uh, use that absorb substances. So the complex food is broken down into simpler substances, and then it will be absorbed by the blood. Through blood it will be given to all parts of the body and to each and every cell, where the cell can use it to get energy to perform different functions. Okay, now these are the very important steps in the Holozoic nutrition. First, the food will be taken in, and this process is known as ingestion. Then the food will be digestive. The food will be digested by the digestive organs, or a whole system which we call digestive system. When the digestive system divide this food into a simpler substances, that simpler substances will be absorbed. It will be absorbed by the villi present in small intestine, right? So small intestine will be helping to doing this process, absorption. Then it will be utilized. Assimilation means it will be utilized by the organism, the digestive food. Okay, it gives a lot of energy, and this energy is required to do the different functions of body, even for the growth and the repair of body. And the undigested food will be thrown out. So the process in which the undigested food is throwing out is known as egestion. Now, as you can see in this picture, there are salivary glands, tongue, esophagus, okay, stomach, liver, gallbladder, duodenum, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. We are going to discuss this diagram in the next slide. Yes, this is a digestive system, diagram of a digestive system. Food will be first taken inside through mouth. Mouth is also known as buccal cavity. The mouth part is also known as buccal cavity. In the buccal cavity you will find 32 teeth. Human being teeth are heterodont. That means different type of teeth are there which are required for the different activity, right? Then this food, when the food is chewed by with the help of teeth, the food will be broken down into smaller tiny pieces. You are going to mince the food, and salivary glands will release saliva that will be mixed with the food properly by the tongue. So tongue has a very important organ of our body. Tongue has gustatory receptor which will taste the food also. It can also determine the, the the temperature of food, right? If it is hot, so that is also determine whether this food is hot or cold. That all is determined with gustatory receptor which are present on the tongue. Teeth breaks the food, we call the mastication. It has large surface area, so that it reduces the surface area of the food, And this reduced surface area, it's very important for the proper function of enzymes. Enzymes have a lot of surface area. It will act on the food and it will start dividing the complex food. Here I want to say one thing. When you eat chapati or rice, because it's starchy food, sometimes you feel that it tastes sweet. It tastes sweet. Just just don't have to mix that chapati and rice with any dal or sabji, but you can eat it as just eat it as it is, so that you can make out that sweetness of food, because this starch is divided into disaccharides, sugar. Because of that sugar, you find it little sweet. Salivary glands, there are three sets of salivary glands which moisten the food and lubricates the food, right? And the enzymes present in salivary gland is amylase, which digests carbohydrate. Then the food will come down. This is the pharynx, which is a common passage of food and air. There is epiglottis present over here. When the food goes down, epiglottis closes your windpipe. Okay. Now the food comes down through esophagus. Esophagus, it is a site where the food is just carrying down. There is a process called peristaltic movement which takes place in esophagus, which facilitates the movement of food. So this peristaltic movement is a wave of constriction caused by the circular muscles of the gut pushing the food downwards. Okay. Here the food will come to stomach. The churning of food will take place in stomach. Now where the stomach is present on the left side of your body. Stomach is it is an elastic bag. Highly muscular walls of the stomach helps in the churning of food. So in this process, food will thoroughly mix with gastric juice, okay, gastric juice and the digestive enzyme. Now stomach secrete gastric juice, which is highly acidic and transparent juice. Gastric juice is acidic because of the presence of hydrochloric acid, and this hydrochloric acid will make this medium a acidic medium, which is very important to activate enzymes. The pepsin will help to digest protein. There are enzymes uh, which will digest protein, which is pepsin, and there are enzymes which digest milk also. Casein is an enzyme which helps in digesting milk, right? Then there is a mucus layer. This mucus layer protects the wall of stomach. Because of the acid, it might possible that walls get they get destroy, or you must have heard about the problem of ulcer, right? So to avoid any kind of problem, or to keep this wall intact, the epidermis layer of the stomach, to keep it intact, mucus is secreted. Okay. And when food get mixed when food get mixed with acid from stomach, it will come down to duodenum. Okay. When the food coming down to duodenum, here the food is getting mixed with the pancreatic juice as well as the bile coming from the liver. There is a gallbladder which helps in the storage of extra bile, right? So these duct will enter. This is a common bile duct which enters in duodenum, and this is a pancreatic duct which enters in duodenum. And bile will help in the emulsification of fat. Emulsification of fat means it will change the fat globules. It will break the fat globules into small pieces, again to increase the surface area. Now why the surface area has to be increased? Because enzymes can act on the food, and it is very efficient. It is very efficiently will be it is digested by the enzymes. Clear? Now the food will come down to the small intestine. Small intestine, it is a site of absorption of food as well as digestion of food. So the enzyme from pancreas and bile. Bile has one more function I have to tell you, that bile changes the acidic medium of food into a alkaline medium. So bile has pigments called bilirubin, which is yellowish green in color, and this is very important for the emulsification, as well as bile has uh, salt, which is alkaline in nature, which will convert this medium into alkaline medium. This is a bicarbonate salt. Okay, so this alkaline medium, on this alkaline medium, the enzymes which are secreted by pancreas will act. Okay, and even the enzyme secreted by small intestine will act, and they are going to digest the protein further, as well as they are going to digest fat also. Clear? So pancreas, a gland that makes enzyme for digestion and bicarbonate to neutralizes a stomach acid, also makes a hormone insulin, yes, which helps the body turn food into energy and regulates blood sugar levels. So pancreas is a exocrine gland which secretes enzymes for digestion, as well as they secrete hormone called insulin. Insulin helps in the uh, it helps to maintain blood sugar level. Here, small intestine digests protein, fats and carbohydrate. Now this is the final, small intestine is the final site of digestion. It is very important to note that carbohydrate will be finally digested into sugar or glucose. Sugar, that is a glucose. Okay, carbohydrate will be digested into glucose, which is then absorbed by the villi of intestine, and proteins will be digested into amino acids. The end product of protein is amino acid, end product of carbohydrate is sugar, and end product of fat is lipid and glycerol. After the food is digested in small intestine, it will be taken to the large intestine, where the absorption takes place. It will absorb the extra water from food, so that less amount of water is thrown out of the body. Okay, and then the food will be stored in rectum, and finally it will be thrown out through anus. Anus, at the end of the anus there is a sphincter which is going to control the opening and closing of anus. Thank you children. Practice today's topic.